Lob to Hill, and he missed it. Another one right at the rim. Goes Duke's way. It's right here on the money. March Madness.
The deeper you go into the tournament, everything changes, and to be able to handle all that, you need incredible focus.
There's a new member of the Final Four Club.
The road to Minneapolis goes through here.
Kentucky's going to the Elite Eight. Auburn is one win away from the Final Four.
So to the regional final. Virginia advancing to the Final Four.
Here we go, March Madness.
We welcome you back to Studio 43 and the road to Final Four here in New York City. The Midwest Regional Final coming up momentarily. Our confidential crew was with Kentucky as Coach John Calipari prepared his squad for the red-hot Auburn Tigers.
Listen, all those little things eliminate any opportunity for them to beat you. All right? So you throw to either guy, we cut and play. Here we go.
You know what's great about it? This group of players that are here, they love the game. They love making plays. They're a pleasure to coach. I told them they added years to my life coaching this team.
Down, down. You got to be down, Calvin. You're not up. Come on, man. Look, we know who we're playing. I'm thinking with my team.
So we're playing them a third time. It's going to be a really hard game. They're playing out of their minds right now. They're shooting balls. They're playing loose. They're playing aggressive. And I'm telling you, there's no team in the country playing better than them right now.
If I stay here, and then go after the shot, you either block it or they miss.
And as you listen to John Calipari, you see the opponent today, the Auburn Tigers, taking the court as they prepare for their game in Kansas City. Let's talk about Coach Cal for just a moment. We've heard him say a couple of times that he didn't know what he had at the beginning of the year. That's got to be a little extra tough for a coach who really doesn't know until he's well into the season what he's got.
I think the opposite. I think your team should get better throughout the season. I think when you look at, I'm a big Cal fan. I think people know that. But I think him and Coach Izzo are the best, no disrespect to Kay or Warren Williams, anybody. I think their teams improve more than any coaches I see throughout the year, especially with the injuries that Michigan State has had. But that's Cal to me. They always get better as the season progresses.
Well, you know, this team obviously has been young, but they haven't been young in the traditional sense of the R.J. Barretts and Zion Williamsons, the guys with the names that everyone is, like, waiting to go see. So now he's had a maturation process which is a little bit different and probably a little bit more challenging, he thought, but guys have bought in, so it made it easier. I think at times when you have great players, they say, well, I've been great. So this worked for me. So now you have to tell them that might not work there. But when you have guys who are buying into a situation saying, I'm not sure if everything I've done will work at this level, it's probably a joy to coach.
And Clark, as they get to this time of the year, they aren't as young as they used to be. In the professional level, they say, well, there's no such thing as a rookie at the end of the season. That could hold true for the younger players.
No doubt. Great point, Greg. And one of the things I'm concerned about and interested in this game is the condition of P.J. Washington. Much like losing Chuma Okeke for Auburn, it's like jet lag. That first day or two you get back, you can rise up and go full throttle. I think Auburn will do that. P.J. Washington, I'm wondering, was it all adrenaline for that first game back from the injury? How will he recover? What impact will he have? Because I think that's going to go a long way in determining Kentucky's fate, and also the three-point shooting. Hero and Johnson have made 7 of 24 from 3 in the tournament. They've got to make more than that today.
We will get a little bit more into that game as we continue on the road to the Final Four, and we will get set for Auburn and Kentucky. The madness and the dancing roll on.
That is impressive. This is unbelievable. How about that?
Styling and profiling.
Creativity. Nice spin. You can't make this stuff up. Way to use that body, big fella. Wow. Still dancing. It is Elite Eight action today
from KC, destination Minneapolis, and all SEC regional final in the Midwest. The number 5 seed Auburn taking on the number 2 seed Kentucky. Winner advances to the Final Four to meet Virginia. That heart-stopping victory in overtime last night for the Cavaliers over Purdue. And welcome courtside, everybody. Ian Eagle, Jim Spinarkle, Jamie Erdahl will join us as well. It's the last day of March, so that means that there's still some time for a little more madness here, Jimmy. Let's start with Kentucky. Wildcats get the victory over Houston. The 1-2 punch. P.J. Washington, Tyler Hero involved in one of the great sequences in Kentucky basketball history.
Yeah, and Washington did not miss a step with that injured foot that he had. He came out and played 26 minutes, scored 16 points. He was outside shooting the basketball. They were finding him inside. So he played very, very well. Hero on the other side is really stepping up his game. One of the best freshmen in the country. His outside game lends him towards driving to the middle. And at the end of this game, about 35 seconds to go, Washington makes a huge play that leads to Kentucky transition. And what do? They space the floor a little bit, a delayed jump shot. They play hero ball again for a huge, huge shot at the end of that game.
These two teams are so familiar with one another. Kentucky 2-0 against Auburn. In fact, the last time the Tigers lost, it was against Kentucky. 11 straight wins for Bruce Pearl's team. Bittersweet victory, though, over North Carolina. They lost their star, Chuma Okeke, a torn ACL in the second half of that Sweet 16 victory. So they're going to have to find something to replace the offense that Okeke brings, and certainly three-point shooting will be a major focal point for Auburn.
They're going to have to hit their share of threes. They got to hit between 12 and 15 threes this afternoon in this game. 8 different players shot the ball and made a 3 in the last game where they made 17. So you look at this play here. They got to break people down off the dribble this afternoon and really go after, get to the paint. It's the second guy that I think is going to be key to drive it back in, get the defense rotating a little bit so you can find some of those outside shots. But keep in mind, Kentucky has gotten better and better at perimeter defense this year.
Auburn gets another crack at the Wildcats today in the Elite Eight. Tigers have never been to a Final Four. We'll have starting lineups. Opening tip from Kansas City coming up.
Coverage of the NCAA men's basketball tournament is sponsored by the unexpected energy of ExxonMobil. Infinity. Empower the drive. Allstate. Are you in good hands? And by AT&T. More for your thing. That's our thing.
The impact that this tournament has around the country. Friday night after the Auburn victory, Toomer's Corner, the celebration. Meanwhile, in Lexington on State Street, they're running in the streets to celebrate another trip to the Elite Eight. This time, the stage even bigger. A chance to go to the Final Four. Auburn and Kentucky. Before we tip things off, let's check in with the third member of our crew. Over to Jamie Erdahl.
Well, Ian, nothing like the NCAA tournament that doesn't force you to turn the page, whether it's good news or it's bad. It was a celebratory evening Friday night when Auburn reached the Elite Eight, but it didn't come without a cost, and that is when Chuma Okeke went down with what looked like a devastating knee injury in the second half of that game. It was a blow. It looked serious from the beginning. It was confirmed Saturday morning, as you mentioned, that indeed it was a torn ACL. Okeke will undergo surgery on Tuesday in Florida with Dr. James Andrews. We talked about the emotions there. Teammates made sure he was a part of that win, allowing him to move Auburn on in that bracket that everyone does when they're in the middle of March Madness. And he is present today, as his teammate Malik Dunbar wore his jersey during shoot-around to make sure Okeke knew he was here. He is not, though. He is with his family back at the team hotel supporting the Tigers the best way he knows how, which is away from the arena.
Yes, additional emotion here, Jamie, for this Auburn squad. Moving into uncharted territory, potentially, having never been to a Final Four. Let's check out the starting lineups for the Tigers. Jared Harper, Bryce Brown, exciting backcourt with Malik Dunbar, the senior who shot it well in the first half the other night. Horace Spencer steps into the starting 5, replacing Okeke, and McLemore rounds it out for Auburn. Kentucky, Higgins and Johnson and Hero. 3 freshmen, Reed Travis The grad transfer from Stanford and E.J. Montgomery continues to start. P.J. Washington will once again come off the bench for John Calipari. It worked last round. He played 26 minutes, and he was fantastic. Meanwhile, for Bruce Pearl, his second Elite Eight appearance as a head coach, did it 9 years ago with Tennessee, and trying to bring this Auburn program to new heights. Terry Weimer, Mike Roberts, Brian Dorsey, our officiating crew. A couple of keys that you're looking for early here, Jimmy.
Early, I think you're going to see Auburn try to get into their normal game without Okeke. Push the ball up and down the floor, but keep in mind, you're going to see Kentucky really come out on the perimeter to stop their three-point shooting. And this may very well be a game of who wins the two-point shot, even though Auburn is known for his three-point shooting.
The 114th all-time meeting, and the most important because there is a trip to the Final Four on the line. Auburn controls the tip. Brown backing in against the bigger Montgomery. Horace Spencer swings it. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Brown lines it up. Short on a three ball.
Let's see if Kentucky uses their size early on. Travis out there. Watch him go into the boards.
Hagan's got into foul trouble the other night in the victory over Houston. 62-58. Kentucky shot 48% in that game. Playing in their 7th Elite Eight in John Calipari's 10 years with the Wildcats. 6 to shoot. Denial, out of bounds. Kentucky will retain with 5.
Yeah, good little deflection there. Kentucky a little slow. A couple of times looking to the blocks. Bruce Pearl's team has to get a bunch of deflections if they can, but a quick catch and go here, Ian.
Get it in for Hero. Hero fires off the rim, and it's rebounded by Dunbar for Auburn.
Dunbar may be the wild card here. He should be ready to shoot.
Stop and go. Harper to Dunbar. 1 minute gone by, first half. Bryce Brown did not shoot it well the other night.
Look at Spencer out here. He's trying to drag the big guy out of the middle of the floor, Ian, so they can have some driving lanes. There you go.
Flip it up. It went off the rim on the pass by Harper. Johnson steps into it. Off the mark.
Team rebounding. One of the keys for Auburn. Keep Kentucky, who's a very good rebounding basketball team. Keep them off the glass as much as you possibly can.
They are number 5 in the country in rebounding margin, a plus 9.5 on the season.
The offense's rebounds, too, is where they're difficult with their putbacks.
Kick out. Harper for Brown. Too strong. And Johnson rips down the board. Higgins with a head of steam leaves it for Travis. Kentucky on the board and a chance for 3.
Very nice read by Higgins coming down the floor because he recognized one of the defenders was stuck behind and couldn't get out in front of him. And as he continues to push, he knows right now nobody has an angle defensively. You see McLemore a little late getting there. Nice little dunk down.
And the foul on Malik Dunbar. Travis, a 74% shooter, gets the roll. John Calipari's teams with Kentucky 24-3 when they play a lower seed in the NCAA tournament. That goes back to his Memphis days and his UMass days.
Hero has Brown. That's going to be a nice matchup. Higgins and Harper.
Harper lets it fly. And Auburn still trying to get on the board.
They've got the open looks, though. They're not so contested that they have to worry about that. Looking for the high-low, not there.
So clear it for Higgins.
I think you have to get one on the blocks. Kentucky draws a lot of fouls, Ian. I'd put the bigs for Auburn and test them early.
Trying to split defenders, a cough up. Higgins turns it over. Auburn is running. Harper denied. Montgomery. Hero, the push up the floor. Nice fake for 2.
That's because Johnson was running the left side of the floor. If Johnson doesn't run, then you can guard Hero a little easier. A little smile on Johnson's face, even though he didn't score just then, knowing they got that transition going in their favor.
Auburn is 0 of 4 from the field. Brown using the screen from McLemore on a switch. Wow, air ball.
Yeah, their perimeter is being defended well, and they're looking at the bigs.
Johnson got a bump. Layup doesn't go, but he is going to the free throw line. Auburn is asking, is it on the floor? It is not. 2 free throws.
So Harper thinks he can test it and go underneath. It's just he's switching to that left hand, which is a slower shot there. Montgomery reads it perfectly, and a beautiful ball fake to freeze the defender. Get him to lock up. You think you're going to pass it to your left. You hold on to the ball once he bites on the fake.
Bruce Pearl's going to make some changes here. Wiley getting ready to check in. Dowdy and Purifoy. 6-0 lead for Kentucky. And you ask, well, what are they missing with no Okiki? Low post presence and perimeter presence, the inside-outside skills.
And arguably one of the better players in terms of the last half of the conference in the SEC, playing the way he was playing, and he was playing just absolutely lights out the other night. They got to get on the board, though, don't they? Just got to find a way to stop this Kentucky surge early on.
In the Elite Eight for just the second time in program history, 1986, the first. Work it to Purifoy. He drains it. The carryover from the other night. D'Angelo Purifoy put up a season-high 12 points on 4 of 6 from three-point range.
Yeah, and he just had a smile on his face the other night. You could just tell every shot he believed it was going to go in.
To the post. Travis turns on Wiley. Gets it to go. Tough move on the interior.
Yeah, Dowdy just too late just then.
And a steal by Higgins.
Little dump off. Nice play defensively, though.
Purifoy intercepts. Auburn is now 1 of 7 from the field.
I think they're going to have to look for a little pull-up, too.
Purifoy short.
Not try to test on the full drive with Harper. Maybe a little pull-up, 7 to 8 foot jumper.
Travis fouled before the shot. Basket won't count for Reed Travis, but another foul on Auburn. With 15:45 to play, first half of timeout.
Yeah, somebody's got to help down there. He's just way too strong. Very talented on the offensive glass.
Coke is introducing delicious orange vanilla Coke. It's orange and vanilla and Coke and delicious. 15:45 mark of this first half. P.J. Washington will check in. Washington did not play opening weekend of the NCAA tournament. Left foot sprain. He did play in the Sweet 16 win over Houston, and he played well. 26 minutes. Washington finished with 16 points. Some quick housekeeping. During the timeout, they announced that a foul that was originally called against Horace Spencer was actually on Dunbar, so it's his second personal. Kentucky with the basketball and a 9-3 lead. Quickly in, replacing Higgins, and McCormick in for Auburn. Washington online, but too strong.
Well, Auburn will take that miss just then, because that's the type he was hitting the other night when he came back. He looks very, very good. Nice pass.
Dowdy inside for the jam. Austin Wiley, the throwdown.
Well, Wiley has to figure out a way to stay away from foul trouble, but do just what he did just then. Park himself in there looking for opportunities after the drive.
Big body. Auburn now 2 of 9 from the field, 1 of 6 from three-point territory.
Trying to shade guys to go to their left defensively out the perimeter.
Washington pivots on Purifoy.
Nice play defensively.
And a slap away. Purifoy tries to save it. He's out of bounds.
Good collapse on Washington just then. He catches it and goes in the post. 2 and 3 Auburn players quickly. Now the key word there was quickly. Nice effort here. To the band.
Does he play the drums? Do we know?
Right now.
Higgins is back in for Kentucky. Shot clock is down to 1. Higgins, air ball. Good defense from Auburn on the perimeter.
Yeah, and I'm not so sure. John Calipari's over on the side there yelling. He's pointing to both clocks, saying there were clocks at both ends of the floor to figure out what the time situation was. Little mental mistake there by Kentucky.
And the third Wildcat turnover here in the early going. 9-5 lead for Kentucky.
Motion offense, trying to keep that middle of the floor open for drives.
On the crossover, Dowdy. Purifoy saves. Ball movement. Brown didn't take the 3. Instead tries to give it up, and he turns it over.
He's got to shoot that 15-footer in there, the 13-footer. That's the shot that's going to be open against Kentucky right now.
Higgins, they go early with Hero. Washington left free for a moment. Bumping bodies, and Brown, no match for Washington on the inside.
Yeah, just a late recovery there by Brown, but to your point, Ian, you're absolutely right. Washington, he gets it there against a smaller guy. Forget about it. Going to post Wiley a little bit. Got to get close. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
And a turnover. Backboard violation. Third turnover for Bruce Pearl's squad. And Harper will check back in for Auburn.
Now watch Washington, the way he just sets himself up, and then he recognizes a smaller guy there, just bounces him away from his body and completes the play.
So Auburn has relied on three-point shooting throughout the season. 438 made threes coming into this game, the most ever by an SEC team. Obviously, they're not going to go away from what's made them successful, but it's not working so far. 1 of 6.
I'll go back to that point. Watch for little pull-up jump shots when they get by their guy on the perimeter. I think it's going to be a game of 2s possibly for Auburn.
Washington on a bounce for Travis. Hero moving without the ball.
Size advantage. Nice hands.
Hero lost it. Washington pulls the trigger. And the weak side rebound of Dowdy.
Here's where they want to get something in action before Kentucky sets up. Good defensive recovery, though.
Bullet feed, Purifoy, the double. Wiley gets a touch. Wiley off the window. Austin Wiley taking it over Travis.
Yeah, and he turned that into a little further shot than you really see. For example, Bruce Pearl's over there trying to get his fans involved on the other side of the floor.
11-7 Kentucky. Tip ball by Purifoy. He's been active.
Well, one of the things in practice yesterday, want to disrupt Kentucky as much as they can. These deflections are doing just that.
Watch every game live on your phone, tablet, computer, and favorite streaming device with March Madness Live. Watch now at ncaa.com/March Madness or download the app today. Kentucky 11, Auburn 7. A slow start for the Tigers, but it looks like they found their footing.
A little matchup right here. Good save there by Quickly.
Quickly drains it. He shot it well in the victory over Houston.
Now you put Higgins on the floor and Quickly have a fast backcourt, a very good defensive one. Quickly will shoot the ball a little bit better, as we just saw.
McLemore back on the floor. Dowdy partially blocked. Nice work on the inside, but the miss by Spencer. Hero steps into it. Textbook. A triple.
Got to be careful. Nice work by Hero running the floor.
And a 10-point lead for the Wildcats. Just about 8 minutes gone by here in the first half in Kansas City.
Going to their strengths. Little spread out, up-tempo type of game for Kentucky, and Hero, if you give it to him, he's just going to knock it down. Watch for him on the baseline jumpers also.
McCormick. Tough delivery, no. Rebound snatched and a reach in. Spencer clutched it. And Kentucky will pick up the foul. Kentucky shooting 50% from the field. Auburn shooting 25%.
Wiley using that size down low. A little bit of a fadeaway shot, and then watch Hero park it. He gets to that spot. Boy, you want to learn how to shoot a basketball, just watch him. Nothing but money from the perimeter.
With Amelia Clark, Zachary Levi, Sandra O, Henry Winkler, and tomorrow catch Nathan Lane, all new Colbert, all this week on CBS. Tournament summary, Texas Tech. What an impressive showing for Chris Beard's squad. The victory over Gonzaga, first Final Four in school history. Virginia going to the Final Four for the first time since 1984. Look, Final Four appearances, Kentucky, 17 of them. Auburn's never been there. Auburn's been to the NCAA tournament 10 times. So Kentucky has been to more Final Fours than Auburn has been to the big dance.
I don't think Bruce Pearl was emphasizing that during that timeout to his guys, though. He's trying to emphasize to them, be able to go to the hoop and look for opportunities. There you go.
Alex Dowdy who puts it down out of the timeout. Always a good feeling when you score coming out of the timeout.
Yeah, and I started to think back, you know, when the last time these two teams played, back on February 23rd when Kentucky beat them by 27. You don't want to get yourself into big trouble. Look at Bruce Pearl.
Hero misses from the corner. Rebounded by Spencer.
He thought Hero ran over the defender just then.
No Auburn starter has scored. A combined 0 of 7 so far. The bench did tremendous work the other night against North Carolina. They outscored the Tar Heels reserves 40-21.
8 guys making a three-point shot.
Brown around quickly. The floater, no, but a foul as Nick Richards rotated over.
And you see the difference right there. The floaters and the pull-up jump shots are what you have to challenge them with.
So you want to play Blue Bloods in the NCAA tournament?
Sure, go ahead.
Auburn, win over Kansas, win over North Carolina, and now taking on Kentucky. Only one team in NCAA tournament has beaten those 3 programs in the same tournament, and it was Arizona, 1997, the year the Wildcats won the national championship. Purifoy back in, Wiley joins him.
And Dunbar back in also, Ian, with 2 fouls, so he has to play very, very smart as a senior. Bruce Pearl obviously is going to respect that and the experience and hope he stays away from a foul. Let's see if he gets isolated, but he's also guarding Hero too.
A pair of free throws for Bryce Brown, so the first Auburn starter to score. Auburn's cut it to 6.
Little switching out on the perimeter when the guards exchange.
Travis is fouled by Wiley on the post-up.
Just never let him establish that position.
That is team foul number 4, second personal on Wiley. Expecting extended playing time in the absence of Okiki between Spencer and Wiley, and Purifoy shifting over to that power forward spot.
And that's why you're seeing Spencer come into the game right now. That's a good move. You don't want to leave your big guy in there after he picks up his second foul with this much time in the half, because there's a tendency to overdo it, to reach and then pick up a quick third.
Just under 11 minutes to play. First half, 17-11 Kentucky. Higgins gives up his dribble, the 9 to shoot. Higgins looks to penetrate. Washington is fouled by his former high school teammate, Horace Spencer. They attended Finley Prep together for 1 year. Spencer older than P.J. Washington. And it's the youngin who gets the better of the matchup, and he's going to the free throw line.
It's the Kentucky guards that are really setting up their bigs to put them in a position where Auburn's bigs can't react quick enough to close them down without fouling.
Let's check in with Jamie.
Due to the Okiki injury, these two will go head-to-head a lot more than they have had to already this season. So I went to Horace and asked what it was like guarding PJ growing up. He said he always went right. No matter, drive his left, finish right. But guess what he learned at Kentucky? How to finish left. So now he's lethal from both sides.
But as you can relate to, Jim, when you have history going back, you feel like you have additional insight.
You do have the insight. That's what I was speaking with Bruce Pearl yesterday. We talked about that. You know, that this is the 3rd time they're matching up, but it's kind of like if you just stay to what you've done for the first 2 matchups, you're going to get in trouble. So you have to make adjustments on the fly.
On the fly, P.J. Washington, the steal. Behind the back, Johnson, a blocking foul. So now Spencer will pick up another personal. That is 2 on Spencer.
Watch the upper body of number 0. You see how it's not flush, straight up. Not good guarding defensive position just then, so it's the right call from the officials.
It was like you and Mike O'Korn going back to your Duke, North Carolina days, high school teammates.
Yep. Mike, a great player at UNC.
Coverage of the NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship Regional Finals continues tomorrow, 7 p.m. on ESPN2 and the ESPN app. For more info on game times and listings, go to ncaa.com. 16 fouls on Auburn. That's 2 on Spencer, 2 on Wiley. Slipped out of there. Controlled by Kentucky. A travel. Quickly took a hesitation and then took a step. So there's the foul trouble. Spencer, Dunbar, Wiley, all with 2. Harper's jump shot is off. Rebound, knocked around, out of bounds, off of Travis. All right, let's take you back, Jimmy. You wanted one of these today.
Wow. Where'd you find that?
Well, it's on the internet. Jim Spanarkel, Duke All-American in the late 70s. What were you doing there exactly? Was that legal?
You know, I'm not sure what I was doing. That might have been a flagrant 2. Let's bring Gene into that call.
What are the statute of limitations for that? Purifoy missed it from the side. And last touched by McLemore. It's out of bounds. Do we have equal time for Michael Corrin or no?
I'm not sure. I have a picture of Mike in my wallet. I can bring it out.
You have a wallet?
Never comes out, though, does it?
2011 lead for Kentucky. Dunbar will take a seat for Bruce Pearl.
Little full court action right here. Watch for the guard to dip back in after that first dribble. Here he comes. And then the guard, the point guard, handles the action.
Quickly was a major factor in that victory over Houston. Easily could have gone the other way. Cougars had opportunities to win that game and knock the Wildcats out of the tournament. Shot clock is down to 6. Washington makes his move, switching hands. Yeah, he's evolved.
He has, and I'll tell you, Hero is just playing smart basketball again. It was him that just drew the defenders, 2 of them to him, to free up Washington in an area where he can catch and go and do something with it.
Largest lead for Kentucky, 11. Brown gets around Travis, squeezes in for 2.
Now they can get away with that without their bigs like Montgomery or Richards on the floor with that type of drive.
8 national championships for Kentucky, the last one in 2012, second only to UCLA.
There's that same set, little 2-man action, pick and roll. Hero will go away from it to bring up the double team, hopefully for Auburn.
Out of the switch, quickly, short, rebound, grab by Johnson. Hero, open look, rims out of bounds, off of Kentucky.
Yeah, I'm sure Bruce Pearl thought that was going to be a 3-ball for Hero on the left side just then. Washington catches it, little left-hand shot. Jamie spoke about how he's improved going to his left hand now, and all of a sudden Brown driving through. Without the taller Kentucky players, that's an option for Bruce Pearl's team. I still think now, with Montgomery on the floor, that little pull-up floater or jump shot in the lane is still going to be a factor for Auburn if they're going towards the basket.
Hero is now 1 of 4 from 3-point territory. He's on the bench along with P.J. Washington. Harper is yet to get it going on the offensive end, 10 to shoot.
Look at all the room he has, though, to operate in there.
Corner, Purifoy, wow, air ball. Rebounded by Johnson. We hit the 8-minute mark of this first half. Quickly penetrates. Johnson lines it up. And Purifoy knocked it off of Travis. Out of bounds. Auburn will have possession, trailing Kentucky 22-13. All SEC Midwest Regional Final for the right to go to the Final Four.
Let's start with Lowe's for these memorable moments. 10 years ago, North Carolina became the first team to win 6 NCAA tournament games by at least 12 points each, including a 17-point victory over Michigan State in the championship. Lowe's, where hoop fans do it right.
Real questions, real answers. Join Bleacher Report's Taylor Rooks as she interviews the world's most exciting athletes and celebrities. Take it there with Taylor Rooks, premiering Wednesday, April 3rd on the BR app. 22-13, Kentucky in front of Auburn.
And the 3-point shooting, when they played well the other night, they were hitting 17 of them. They really have to work. This is just poor execution from the 3-point line. They're going to have to mix it up because the bigs are even challenging the 3-point shots in addition to the perimeter players by Kentucky.
Kentucky jumped out to a 7-0 lead. They have not trailed here against Auburn.
And Kentucky knows that if they can slow down the 3-point shots, there's the pull-up finally.
Brown doesn't get the roll. Rebound, Purifoy, kick it out. Brown a 3. Short. The extension rebound by Johnson for Kentucky.
But you see the better shot just then. It actually was 2 shots, offensive glass, because you know where the shot's coming from. But they have to hit some of those pull-ups.
Hero back in. Offensive foul. Harper took the bump.
So you might ask why the defensive guy, when he's moved and iron, doesn't get called, and just watch who controls the contact and initiates it. It's Hero with his right side of his body and his shoulder. That was well defended.
Austin Wiley back in for Auburn, playing with those 2 fouls.
Brown 1 for 5. They need him to get on track desperately when he gets an open look. But Hero is a very good defensive player.
Brown lets it fly. Bottom a three.
There you go. And he's got to find his open shots without forcing them. And that time, Hero, little late getting around it on his left side. So Brown knew that if Hero gets there, he's got to cross his body. Good decision by Brown.
A 41% three-point shooter. Just the second of the day from long distance for Auburn. 22-16 Kentucky.
Not much posting up going on for Kentucky right now, playing a perimeter game.
Hero was looking to go back door. Instead, it's the pull-up pop. That pops out by Purifoy.
Look up the left side of the floor. That's where Auburn likes to take it.
McCormick the bounce. Whoa, flail by Wiley. He's fouled.
And this is one, when you have right-handed players, as Auburn does, one of the things they do very, very well is they go up transition on the left side of the floor, which is kind of different defensively, right? Because everybody starts to go this way to defend because you think most plays are coming from the right side. Nice little drop down. Good call from the officials.
Austin Wiley from Hoover, Alabama. Tyler Hero, the personal foul. That's number 2 on him. Wiley's a 57% shooter. Hero will take a seat along with Montgomery. P.J. Washington back in, and it will be Jamal Baker Jr. for the first time today for the Wildcats.
Baker, a three-point shooter, so Auburn has to find him on the perimeter.
Wiley splits a pair. Kentucky's lead is down to 5. 6:25 to go, first half here in Kansas City. Higgins, keep it on the perimeter. Johnson, nice look for the flush. P.J. Washington, the cut to the rim.
Yeah, that's just a set that's designed to get everybody going towards the right side of the floor, so Washington can be the late guy in to get a little layup action.
McCormick has speed, and he missed it.
And Washington a factor defensively on the read also.
Right now it's 5-on-4. McCormick trying to get back. Higgins probes Purifoy in a mismatch.
Should be able to go by him. Watch for a little dump down. Still has that matchup.
Higgins, the screen from Travis.
Whoa, wow, got a carry.
He carried it. And a turnover for Kentucky.
Watch this power play, Ian. It's going to go to the right side of the floor, but watch over here, and he's reading it. He's reading it. Now I step. When everybody commits, now's the time for me to just catch and go.
Are you mixing hockey analysis just so I know where you're coming from?
There was a 5. You said 5-on-4 for me. It got me going a little bit.
Johnson trying to knock it away from Dunbar, who's back in for Auburn. 5:25 to go in this first half. Auburn has not shot it well. 6 of 22 from the field. They give Wiley that shot, and there's a reason.
Yes, good call. He bobbled it, too, before he shot it. They've thought about reloading on that one.
Kentucky slows it down here.
It's hard, though, Ian, when you have a shot like that, even the big guy.
Higgins to the roll. And it's Washington plus 1. Washington cracks double figures.
And he is doing it in Washington style also when you look at him. Little delay again. Now watch, he's going to run his guy all the way to his attack zone. And he knows he catches it. And one of the better guys at not putting the ball on the floor, because he understands where he wants to catch it. And his timing on the offense is absolutely perfect for the delivery.
And Jimmy, it's 17 fouls now against Auburn.
That's one of the things that Kentucky does so very well. They draw fouls a lot.
Washington had that potential season-saving block against Houston. And Corey Davis Jr., that led to the Hero 3 to put the Wildcats ahead in the Sweet 16. Foul called. Dunbar forcing the action into the paint.
Dunbar playing with those 2 fouls. Good, strong, aggressive drive to the middle of the floor.
One of the leaders of this squad. All-around skills from North Augusta, South Carolina, Malik Dunbar. 61% shooter.
I think Bruce Pearl has to play with his minutes with the 2 fouls. He's an important player for this team without Okeke playing. I think, you watch him right now. If he gets through the next 2 minutes and they keep it relatively close, he may head to the bench. That's just to safeguard that extra foul.
1 out of 2. Dunbar digs at it.
Nice play.
But they couldn't save it. Out of bounds, Brown. They didn't shoot it well at the free throw line the other night either, collectively, 8 of 17.
Very nice effort here, though, to keep it alive at first. Yep. Official's out of bounds, so when that ball hits the official's foot, he's out of bounds. If the official's on the other side, inside the line on the playing surface, that ball would have been alive just then.
That was Terry Weimer working the sideline. 27-18 Kentucky, 2 seed against the 5 seed in the Midwest. Auburn knocked off the #1 seed, North Carolina, with a dominating performance in the Sweet 16.
Size advantage to get your guards shooting over people.
Higgins against Brown. And a whistle stops play.
A body check in the middle of the lane.
Well, that's another foul on Auburn. That means 1-1 here for Kentucky.
Ooh, that's on Dunbar.
So the 3rd personal on Malik Dunbar.
Yeah, that's the point I was making a moment ago. Trying to protect him a little bit, and they didn't get a minute out of him just then. And that's why you see a little bit of displeasure, I'll call it, from Bruce Pearl.
And Kentucky is making its free throws, 7 of 8 at the line. This will be Reed Travis. Hagan sits, replaced by Quickly. 4:22 to go, first half. Knocked up in the air, claimed by Washington.
That was Johnson who got a hand in. You shouldn't have that happen on a missed free throw. You have to push them out. Kentucky's so long and strong, getting offensive tips.
Johnson matched up with Doughty.
One of these sets right now that can demoralize you as a defensive team, playing extra minutes defensively after the missed free throw.
Washington rejected. Spencer, 3rd all-time in blocks in Auburn history.
Caught him going to the right.
Harper crosses over, he's fouled. That is team foul number 6 on Kentucky. We'll step aside with 3:52 remaining in the first half. Kentucky and Auburn. Tigers hanging in there against the Wildcats.
Coverage of the NCAA men's basketball tournament is sponsored by Creative Planning, Wealth Management Redefined. Progressive. Get slam dunk savings today. Visit progressive.com. Google Cloud, the official cloud of the NCAA. And by Bud Light. Find out what's in your beer.
Joining you from Kansas City, Missouri, with leading Auburn 27-18. Auburn 2 of 10 from 3-point territory. Kentucky is 2 of 9, but they don't lean on the 3 like the Tigers do. And drawing fouls, something Kentucky has done consistently throughout the season. 8th in college basketball in drawing fouls on 16% of their possessions. They've done it today with Spencer and Wiley, 2 apiece, and 3 on Dunbar for Auburn. Under 4 minutes to play here in the first half.
Yeah, they got to set a screen or so for Brown to get Higgins off. And Higgins, one of the best on-ball defenders.
Harper to the cup, lays it in. Not much of an opening.
I didn't think he had a chance of squeezing that one off the glass. But they have to score at the two-point possessions for Auburn, because that number we just saw in the game summary, if it's relatively close, Kentucky will be happy with that. It's the points from the twos, and we saw those paint scoring numbers that are big for Kentucky.
On the diagonal feed, Washington sticks it from long range.
Shows he ever turned himself into a very good player. He can mix it up with you underneath. He can shoot the ball from the outside. And we're seeing that the foot isn't bothered at all with him running the floor.
First team All-SEC, P.J. Washington, came back for his sophomore year in much better shape. Harper, contact, and a chance at 4. Baker, crowded Harper.
Harper, one of the guys for this team that can light it up in a hurry. Shot it at 38%, but watch that little delay by Baker. Step back with the dribble. Not a very fast move, because Harper is like lightning fast, but it was methodical. And look at the release. Gets it off just in time. Good call from the official. You see the smack of the hand and some body action afterwards.
So the junior will head to the free throw line here. Jared Harper. Jimmy, I know your TV habits. You did not watch The Wire.
No.
Tremendous show. Harper looks like Marlowe from The Wire. It is uncanny.
Okay.
I'm going to show you later.
You're a guy who has watched a lot of TV. So there is no way I'm going to disagree with you on that one.
30-24. Kentucky leading Auburn with 2:38 to play first half. And a foul called. Washington getting position on the inside. And will shoot a pair. Coming up, AT&T at the half. Greg, Clark, Kenny, and Charles will have first half analysis. They'll preview the East Regional Final coming up later today here on CBS between Michigan State and Duke.
Remember what Jamie Erdahl said a few minutes ago? This guy likes to go to his right, but he can go left. That was a perfect example of him going to his strong hand to get to the free throw line.
The foul was called. It's on Dowdy. Washington shoots it at 67% of the free throw line.
Don't you think that number should be higher with the way he shoot? I mean, he's got good form. We just saw him shoot that 3-ball a minute ago. I think he's got perfect form. Why his number is so low, I can't figure out.
If you had 3 hours with it, you could correct it.
Nobody can put up with me for 3 hours. That's why these games are generally 2. You can't put up with me for that long.
31-24 Kentucky. Purifoy and Brown having a catch. They'll get McLemore involved. The turn and the deuce.
Nice isolation just then, too. Keep going down low when you have mismatches. Well-designed play by Bruce Pearl. He's fired up on that bench over there, and he's trying to get everybody in this building who's wearing orange fired up with him.
31-26 Kentucky.
Probably the best 3 minutes that Auburn has played in this half, the last 3.
2 minutes to play. Higgins gives it up. Washington drives. Foul called. Going the other way. McLemore got knocked down to the ground.
Could be Travis with a pull down, I believe, on the right side in traffic over there. So as Washington drives it, watch to your left here. You see that little sneaky move. Left hand comes in on the chest, the shirt, and pulls him back down and pushes him.
And that is free throws now for Auburn.
61% shooter at the line. See, right now, Auburn, when they get to the line, especially with their bigs, they got to steal at least 1 out of 2. And I think Bruce Pearl's feeling better about this game right now than he was about 8 minutes ago, too.
The lanky combo forward. McLemore misses. And an empty possession for Auburn. Kentucky shooting 50% from the field, but they have just 20 field goal attempts. Wildcats up by 5. 1:38 to go. First half.
2-man action with the pick and roll.
Travis setting the screen.
Nice help.
Higgins goes cross court. Quickly steps into it. Rebounded by Purifoy.
Well defended, and they found the shooter very quickly. Look at the plays here.
Harper blasting to the rim.
Wow, does he ever get it up and down in a hurry?
Cheetah.
Meaning the animal.
Yes. T-A-H. 8-1 run for Auburn.
That's almost cheating. Having to guard him going up the floor also.
Auburn has cut it to 3. Their first points in transition. Under a minute to go.
Dowdy on Johnson here.
Johnson forced to give it up. Hagan swings it. Johnson thought about the step back, instead drives in. It's a blocking foul. The shot clock was winding down to 0. And Kentucky will get free throws. McLemore took the hit.
Now let's just see. Here comes the drive. That's a good call. Very good call. A very good call, because 24 there. Watch him. He's going to move to his arrow left looking at it. Nice decision by Johnson to float to his left attacking.
Keldon Johnson shoots it at 70% at the line.
Sometimes I've said before, Ian, they give the offensive player, they penalize them on that play if they just call a charge too often, but that was the correct call. They're ready to box out because they tipped the ball very well.
And the freshman from South Hill, Virginia, goes 1 out of 2.
Important possession right here. You want to end up on a strong note if you're Auburn.
2-for-1 opportunity. Down on the follow. McLemore.
Just tracing Harper the entire trip just then. Everybody on Kentucky was looking for the shot. Nobody thinking about the block out.
Auburn says you can't hold us. McLemore with a follow jam. 32-30 Kentucky. 8-second difference. Shot clock, the game clock.
Keep the hands back, use your feet.
Johnson gives it up. Higgins lines it up and drills it. A three.
Here he comes again, though. Harper to blur.
Harper takes it all the way. Travis played a role defensively. Johnson should have time here. At the horn. Off the back of the iron. And Kentucky will hit the locker room with a 35-30 lead on Auburn, the Midwest Regional Final. The action picked up in the latter stages of that first half. Kentucky up by 5. We'll send it to AT&T at the half. Coming up.
Coverage of the NCAA men's basketball tournament is sponsored by Pizza Hut, official pizza of March Madness. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Gatorade Zero, get more out of zero. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
We are just about set for second half action here in Kansas City. Let's check out the Infinity first half stats. Kentucky 35, Auburn 30. Despite the fact the Tigers shot it at just 37% from the field, they trail by only 5. We check in with Jamie Erdahl.
And I was able to catch up with both coaches going in and out. John Calipari said the table started to turn towards Auburn in the last 5 minutes because Kentucky stopped defending on the right side of the floor where Auburn likes to score. So watch for that as a point of emphasis for the Cats defense. In terms of Auburn, D'Angelo Purifoy will start the second half in order to try and contain P.J. Washington's size and physical ability. Also for an emotional lift, it sounds like Chuma Okeke is on his way to the arena to join the team and perhaps sit on the bench.
Okeke with that torn ACL that he suffered in the Sweet 16 against North Carolina. Iron Eagle Jim Spinarco, second half here to determine who goes to the Final Four.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing to just tag on what Jamie was saying on the right side of the floor, Harper loves to go on the right side, so let's see if the Kentucky guards jump him on the right, meaning to force him to the left. The other thing, I know that Charles in the studio said that he wants his team, Auburn, to really light it up from 3, and I agree. If they do light it up and score and hit 10 in the second half, that'll be good. But I like the fact from an Auburn perspective, Ian, that they were matching them in the paint, and I think that's interesting because they should be able to outscore Kentucky from the 3-point line.
Jimmy Doughty will also start this second half for Auburn, so Bruce Pearl has made changes. Kentucky with the basketball, leading by 5.
I think Auburn wants to play solid defense here without getting that foul trouble as much as they had in the first half.
Travis, the discard, McLemore went down. Higgins misses it. The tip-in goes Johnson, that long reach.
Notice how Auburn let Higgins shoot that ball all by himself, but what does that tell the offensive rebounders? Hey, he's shooting it. Percentages aren't great. You don't want to knock a player, your teammate, but let's go find some offensive glass.
Harper to Brown.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're going to run a play sooner or later to get Brown a screen, get him a shot. Let's see if Hero stays with him. Go strength on strength.
Harper was looking for a runway switch with Travis. Harper gets around him. Left hand, he is fouled.
He goes flying when he gets hit too, but Harper went down hard after that bump on the way to the basket. Here's the drive, and here comes the bump. Little bit of a bump, little extension by Harper, but the guards try to do that to protect themselves also. And then from the top, you can see Travis's right arm come down on the right shoulder too.
Auburn as a team is 5 of 8 at the free throw line. Harper's an 82% shooter.
The more he gets involved pushing the basketball up, possibly the freer Brown will become for his outside shots if he can force Hero to release. But Hero's job is to stay right on Brown to make sure he sticks with the perimeter.
It's the left hand that's bothering Harper. He was shaking it after the contact with Reed Travis.
Full court action right now. Trouble getting it in, too.
The pressure. Kentucky handles it.
If they drop back, just straight up man-to-man still, which they play normally.
Harper now with 10 points on 3 of 8 from the field. Working around the perimeter.
And I think Johnson will be able to get his shot off over Harper if he gets him down. If they're switching out front on everything, every exchange, you'll notice the pointing. That indicates that they're switching.
Nice crossover. Higgins, the strip. The save? No.
2-on-1.
Harper steps in front. He had Brown on the wing. He fires and hits a 3.
And that's Auburn basketball. You would think they're going to go 2-on-1, and they had a 2-on-1 layup if they hurried because the 2 fastest guys on the court. What does Brown do? He goes to his strengths. There's one of those threes to get the crowd for Auburn into it.
Auburn has cut it to 2. Hero controls.
Remember, they're trying to disrupt out front, just trying to make it difficult for the guards in the perimeter play.
Ball movement.
Oh, that was a step. They called it. They got it.
Travel on Higgins.
Thought there was a little delayed whistle, I think, just because it seemed so awkward just then. So defensively, now watch this 2-on-1 develop right here. Can I go in for a layup? Sure you could, but what do? They bounce it back. Bang. He knows what he's doing. Go to your strength.
So now Ashton Hagen sits. He's replaced by Emmanuel Quickly. This game has never been tied.
They get a backdoor cut out of this for Auburn, even though they don't look for it.
Brown for the lead. Oh, rims out. But he's going to the free throw line for 3. Tyler Hero called for the personal.
Yeah, a little help there, a nice screen out front. That's the trigger Brown, and that's one of the things just mentioned, Diane, in terms of Bruce Pearl knows there's that little reach on the left arm as he was going up. Bruce Pearl knows that he needs Brown to get involved. Obviously, Harper's going to have the basketball, but what can he do to set these screens for Brown to keep people off of him?
Remember what happened in the second half for Auburn against North Carolina. They went on a 10-0 burst after the break, and it changed the whole scope of the game. Right now, it's 7-0 Tigers.
It'll be interesting to see what John Calipari calls right now coming down the floor. Got to believe that P.J. Washington is going to get a touch to go to their strength.
And we are tied at 37. Brown steps in, turns around. Oh! Bryce Brown is smoking hot.
What an unbelievable play. And we have an injury down in the left corner. Who's it Quickly, I believe, holding his right knee. Hopping up okay. But how infrequently do you see this? A guy step in, and what is he thinking?
Shot.
Yes. And a good shot for him. Wow, was that ever fast, though, Ian?
The pirouette.
Wow.
And the 3-ball to give Auburn its first lead of the day. 10-0 run.
So he basically said to Bruce Pearl, you don't have to set a screen for me.
Quickly goes to the bench, replaced by Higgins. 40-37 Auburn.
Now go to your strength, and that's Hero shooting the basketball, Washington on the post. Let's see if they get it to him. Double team.
Washington stripped to the ball by Brown.
Now you got to lay up.
3-on-1 kick ball. Out of bounds. No, a travel call on Auburn. Turnover, Tigers.
Wow, Bruce Pearl knew that if that ball could be passed up the court right now. Yep, he comes down with that right foot. Good call, travel. Watch, it's 1, 2, 3. If the right foot is the third foot to come down, or he would have gotten away with it, but Harper had a layup with his speed down the other end of the floor.
Auburn has now turned it over 5 times. Washington using his body on Purifoy.
So they're okay with that matchup there.
Washington, and some contact. Purifoy
with the body.
Picks it up. So that is 3 on D'Angelo Purifoy.
This is where you have to mix things up. These teams have played one another 3. This is the 3rd time. So you have to go to your different variations, your second options. P.J. Washington, generally a right-handed player going to his right. He breaks it down with the left.
Horace Spencer in. That shot goes for Hero. He is very comfortable with that offhand, and he can score in a variety of ways.
Yeah, and it was a breakdown by Auburn, too. You want to push everybody out of the paint area on a cut like that. Quick move by Hero, though. It's a very tricky move.
That ends up 10-0 run. McLemore.
He's missed.
He is way off.
Man, he set an air ball up in the first half. There's a grab out front.
Brown called for it at midcourt. So Kentucky with a chance to regain the lead here. 16:46 mark second half.
I know it's a difficult shot. Hero is so smart. I love the way he plays. But if you're defending that, you just cannot allow him to slice down the left side of the lane like that.
In comes McCormick. In comes Dunbar.
Dunbar playing with 3 fouls also. Really didn't do much at all with 1 point in that first half.
Brown and Dowdy sit for Auburn.
See if McCormick gives Auburn a lift too at the point.
Hero gets a touch.
Backdoor.
Hero contact and swarm by McLemore.
He made up for his missed air ball with the defensive effort.
Oh, what a play to McCormick. The two little guys on the connection upstairs.
Yeah, McCormick gave them a big lift in the last game, defensively and offensively, pushing the action.
42-39, a 12-2 extended run. Higgins inside, Travis trying to get position, out of bounds. And last touch by Auburn.
Here's the straight up, and you see the right hip just then. Who initiates? It's Hero, because you can go straight up. And here we go down for the two little guys that you mentioned, the guards playing off one another.
And Chuma Okeke, a live look behind the scenes, being wheeled into the arena to support his team.
And we wish him nothing but a quick recovery on a difficult injury.
Kentucky was 7-0 in fast break points. It's now 7-7.
Well, they're that little trip out front.
And that's team foul number 3 on Auburn. McCormick there defensively for the Tigers. A turnaround in Kansas City. Auburn 42, Kentucky 39.
Need to check your bracket? Hey Siri, show me NCAA tournament scores.
Chuma Okeke is in the house. Currently set up behind the Auburn bench. As he was wheeled through the tunnel, Bryce Brown came over immediately and gave him a warm embrace. You just now have a different level of emotional attachment considering what Okeke went through the other night with a torn ACL, left leg. Surgery on Tuesday. More from Jamie Erdahl.
Yeah, I just talked to him when he rolled into the arena. He said, my knee was hurting this morning. I was tired. I didn't think I wanted to be here, but after watching that first half, he made a beeline. He wanted to be an emotional support. Mom and brother are also here with Chuma as well.
And Auburn leads by 3. Just over 4 minutes gone by in the second half.
And I think that's great to see, obviously, from everybody's perspective on that. What a devastating injury for a guy who meant so much to this team, and they can rally around him a little bit. He's here, you know what, Ian, to experience, win or lose, to get the experience of being here.
Well, the man that replaced him in the starting lineup called for the foul. Johnson off the inbounds, crushes it.
Oh, and that's coaching and execution. John Calipari 2 for 2 in this half, getting mileage on the out of bounds from underneath his own basket.
Third foul on Horace Spencer. 42-41 Auburn. Pretty move. McCormick walks the tightrope. Spencer lines it up. And it's rebounded by Hero.
Yeah, the small guys are keeping the action going for Auburn, but I don't know about the offensive glass with this lineup, except for Wiley out there.
Wildcats trying to go back in front. Travis off the ricochet.
Higgins got hit in the eye.
Dunbar couldn't control it. Saved by Washington. 2-on-1. Higgins playing catch. Oh, denied! Major block, Malik Dunbar. Harper flips it up, no, but a foul.
Exactly what Auburn wants to do in this game. Get this thing going up and down the floor. Play it a touch out of control, but what an effort from behind. That didn't get to the glass, by the way, so that's a good block. And you take a look at it. Big split second. And then all of a sudden, here's that inbounds play again. Kentucky really getting some good mileage out of that.
So Higgins will head to the bench. He was having an issue with his eye. And he's replaced by Emmanuel Quickly. The officials are saying that you can't make that substitution until the first shot.
Right.
John Calipari is indicating he got hit in the head.
Well, he did. That's why he was trailing the play.
Jared Harper at the line. So Higgins, he caught Reed Travis.
Yes. And then he threw the ball at him, no less, after he hit him.
So John Calipari's right. He did get hit in the eye, but it was by a teammate.
Yeah, and it was hard to pick that one up, too, if you're the officials, because of the blur going down the other end of the floor.
44-41 Auburn. Washington.
They're double teaming every time he touches it. That's that diagonal pass he's good at.
Johnson the curl and bucket. Pretty play. Keldon Johnson with 10.
One of the reasons you can isolate Washington either 15 feet away or 5 feet away is because he does have that nice diagonal exit pass from the post.
The winner will play Virginia in the Final Four at Minneapolis. Auburn 44, Kentucky 43. Harper way off. Rebound scooped off the floor by Washington.
Reed Travis a factor there too, because that thing came off very high.
Quickly sizing up Harper. Hero. Foul is called on the pass. He was trying to get rid of it. Headed to Minneapolis, download the Final Four app presented by AT&T to help you plan, enjoy, and share all the excitement of the weekend. Available for iOS and Android. Fourth foul on Spencer, and that's going to force Bruce Pearl's hand. It'll be Purifoy. 5 team fouls now on Auburn. So it's Wiley and Purifoy up front.
They're looking to go to the middle of the floor just then for a third time.
Dunbar draws the assignment on Hero. Quickly over Brown. Rebound popped in the air. Harper's got it. Auburn on the move. Deflected by Johnson and stolen. Kentucky in transition. Quickly lobs it up. Oh, the throwdown. P.J. Washington climbs the imaginary ladder.
What a transition effort. First defensively to get back on Harper, and second, Hero ran the floor first, and Washington just pointed to the sky and said, put it up there and I'll finish it off for you.
45-44, Kentucky back in front.
Look at them trying to hang on Brown as much as they possibly can off curls and screens.
Man-to-man, Brown against Hero, dishes inside. Wiley lost it. Johnson got a piece. Wiley sticks with it. Out of bounds. Last touch by Auburn.
Coming down the floor, watch P.J. Washington put the hand in the air. He says, just throw it skyward, and he'll finish it off and make sure you look good as a passer. Right on the money, too.
This is a slugfest.
It sure is.
45-44 Kentucky.
Go to your strengths. Hero's coming off. They want to get it to Washington with his touches. Where's the double team?
Washington doesn't get it to roll. Inside. He's fouled.
I think Travis may have played a part in that also in there with the traffic, just keeping this ball alive. Washington gets it. Well, watch Travis right here. Does he get a hand on this ball when he's in there to keep it alive?
Yeah, sure did.
He does. They just bounce it over to Washington and he gets to the line.
That's the 4th foul on Purifoy. P.J. Washington, 17 points, 6 rebounds, 3 of them offensive for John Calipari. John Calipari got a warning just after that foul was called. 12:41 mark of the second half. Malik Dunbar in. Jamie Erdahl.
Yeah, he's checking back in after attention was paid to his upper lip. His tooth looked like it almost went through fully on that lip. It's bleeding pretty profusely, but he has cotton tucked up in there, as you can see. But he wanted to check back in as fast as possible.
Yeah, it looks like it's the big tooth, the right one for Malik Dunbar. Purifoy's going to check back in.
You'll never get this one. I was going to say that Dunbar's coming in absent what Jamie just mentioned on the injury. You know, Dunbar only has 3 fouls.
They changed a foul from earlier to McLemore. This has now happened 4 times today where a foul has been changed from the call that was originally announced. So there has been a disconnect here from the scorer's table and the officials. This has been a fluid situation. Spencer with 4, Purifoy with 3, Dunbar with 3.
Now Dunbar's back. I'm going to hesitate because he hesitated. He's going back and forth. He doesn't know which way to go here.
Bruce Pearl is trying to communicate with the officials right now, and he told Brian Dorsey he wants Dunbar in. Purifoy will stay on the sideline, as will Hagans for Kentucky. They're letting Hagans in, and he will replace quickly.
Very possibly the longest substitution of the tournament. But they're going to play 5-on-5 is my guess.
Well, Jimmy, I'm so glad that we were a part of it, a part of that history. P.J. Washington does have a second free throw. The Dallas native splits a pair. 46-44 Wildcats. And Purifoy was trying to check in after the free throw. Same deal. Quickly is being called over. Bryce Brown, Jared Harper, first 8 minutes, non-factors. 27 points since that stretch.
All right, I think we're ready to go.
2-point lead for Kentucky.
See if Dunbar can get something going for him, too. He's a third clog here from a scoring perimeter standpoint.
McLemore, hands to Brown. Not enough airspace to operate initially. Jumper, buries it. It's a 3. Bryce Brown from downtown.
A little slow traffic there in terms of the screen for him, but once again, another set to try to free him up, to get who's ever guarding him away from him just for a split second.
Travis hasn't been heavily involved here offensively.
That's because it's going through Washington. Now they're fronting Washington down low.
Yep, and there's the foul, too much. And Dunbar picks it up.
He's got to be careful, too, with his reaction.
And Bruce Pearl is trying to get a hold of Dunbar here. 47-46. Auburn leading Kentucky. The 4th foul on Dunbar. We have got a battle in Kansas City. Tonight, 60 Minutes meets a scientist who believes he can bring back the woolly mammoth. Really? Plus, a college basketball Cinderella story that started in a prison. That's tonight, only CBS. Let's get you updated on the foul trouble for Auburn. Horace Spencer with 4, Malik Dunbar with 4, Purifoy has 3 for Kentucky, Tyler Hero with 3. Well, against Kentucky this season from 3-point territory, that January 19th game, a 2-point win for the Wildcats. Auburn went 13 of 30. Blowout for Kentucky in the second meeting, and Auburn went 8 of 27. They are 6 of 17 here today. They have made 12 or more threes in 8 straight games. Washington misses at the free throw line.
Harper was hobbled just a second there on that rebound. Looks fine right now. Continue to look for Brown. It's the assignment of Hero guarding him over there on the right side of the floor.
Brown double team, find the open man. McLemore drives and lost it. Washington the block. Out of bounds with 7 to shoot.
So we've seen McLemore get the ball and shoot the basketball and throw 2 air balls up. What is he thinking now? He's got to go after it. Oh, I don't know about that one. Looks like right across the lower wrist, upper wrist, and forearm there.
The recovery by Washington didn't allow the dunk. Now they have to work quickly. Dowdy off balance. Off the rim. Kentucky looking to go back in front. We approach 11 minutes to go, second half. Feed it to the post. Washington drives, hot step. Off the back of the iron, rebounds it, reload.
They're giving him that shot. Let's see if he makes it.
Higgins, no.
That's why they're giving it to him.
Dowdy with the board.
Good scouting report by Auburn. They've seen him the 3rd time this year.
Purifoy, corner pop, short. Rebounded by Dowdy. And Auburn gets to reset.
Well, he tried to go one-on-one here. A little guard play up front. Let's see what Hero does to stop him.
Auburn has never been to a Final Four. Bryce Brown, the pull-up pop. Book it.
That's the one I was mentioning in that first half. They can get some lane shots there. Then all of a sudden what you do is defensively you get Kentucky leaning back, expecting a drive or so, and then Brown will pull up again for a 3.
20 points for Bryce Brown. 3-point lead for Auburn. Kentucky has scored just 3 points over the last 4 minutes and change.
A lot of bumping going on outside and in.
McLemore trying to hold his ground with Travis. Quickly lines it up. Air ball. Quick by Washington. Travis is there. Tough bucket on the inside with the shot clock winding down.
Yeah, Washington that time a factor offensively on the glass too. The last time it was the help that Travis gave Washington. This time Washington helps Travis out.
Reed Travis, 3 of 3 from the field. Washington has 5 offensive rebounds. They're trying to ride Brown. The curl, the fade. Oh, he's feeling it. It's stuck on automatic for Bryce Brown.
Now you may have to run a second guy at him. That will free up a shooter for Auburn on the perimeter next trip down. Let's see if Kentucky will adjust. Boy, the bigs are really out far for Kentucky right now.
51-48 Auburn.
Now they slide back to the middle of the floor. One does.
Higgins needed help. Hero comes to the ball. Dump it inside. Travis so active. Big shot good and a foul.
He is so good at drawing fouls, number 1, which a lot of people don't really talk about in terms of how effective he is to get a team, not only his guy he's playing with, as Bruce Pearl disagrees, but get his guy in foul trouble and also put up fouls on the team. You see, that's because the left arm is sliding down instead of straight up. You'll get that call as an offensive player if you know what you're doing with your body.
Second foul on McLemore, the 8th team foul on Auburn. Kentucky has just 3 team fouls as Travis misses at the line. Javon McCormick is back in for Auburn. 51-50, the Tigers lead it. Harper, Purifoy. Long distance connection. D'Angelo Purifoy.
He gave them such a big lift in the last game. Let's see if that one springs him a little bit. They need somebody on the perimeter to shoot the ball well from 3.
This is Auburn's largest lead, 4.
Other than Brown.
Washington drives, cuts it up. Now it's a race. Jared Harper looking for the angle. Harper gives it up.
He had a layup thing just then, Harper. Oh, nobody.
Dowdy goes down to get it. Trying to get this under control. Out of bounds.
I think that's off Washington. You're right. Get it under control.
So Auburn will retain with 17 to shoot.
I love these bounces if you're a shooter. So does Purifoy.
We approach 8 minutes to play. Washington gets a hand on it. It's saved by Purifoy with 10 to shoot. McCormick to Harper. Quick first step. Harper hangs. Can't get it to drop. Rebound. Foul call. Doughty got knocked hard.
Johnson going after that ball. An aggressive play. Inadvertent shot right to the upper part of the body. Nice work by Auburn on the offensive glass, though.
Just the 4th team foul on Kentucky.
You see just a split second. Oh, we took a better shot than I thought just then.
Took it on the chin from Johnson.
Yeah, he sure did.
But Doughty is Philly tough. He stays in there. New shot clock to work with. Auburn 54, Kentucky 50. Virginia has already advanced to the Final Four with an incredible win last night. Harper switching hands. Out of bounds. Off of Auburn.
Well, you see Brown watching with a little hesitation. Then he goes. He's been sitting on the bench buying some minutes also for the run.
Kentucky led this one by as many as 11. They were up 22-11. Auburn has turned it around, now a 54-50 lead. Despite shooting just 38% from the field, Bryce Brown has led the charge for the Tigers.
He's got to find the spots on the floor, which he's doing right now, and they're trying to look for him also, setting some screens. And here was a beautiful one with the steal. He steps in and takes that ball back, and there's turns and fires. Much-needed points from the perimeter.
22 for Brown, comes in averaging just under 16 per game. Austin Wiley in for Auburn.
3 guards up front, making it tough to get it in.
Higgins does get it in.
And Bruce Pearl will show that once in a while just to rattle you a little bit, but now as you notice, they go back to their straight-up man-to-man again.
And Bruce Pearl has put his jacket back on. 7.5 to go.
Wiley anchoring the middle of the floor for Auburn.
Johnson, the penetration, short. Rebounded by McCormick. McCormick crosses. Wiley on the inside, pump fake.
Oh, it died! Oh, did it ever?
Right on the rim.
Oh, my goodness.
Austin Wiley gets the deuce. And Auburn in front by 6.
Bit of a knuckleball. It just died up there. No movement at all on it.
Wilbur Wood would be proud.
Very good.
Purifoy defending Washington, playing with 4 fouls. Washington floats it home.
He went away from the double team, too. You may have caught coming around the baseline side just then. One of the guards trying to double him, trying to swipe it low. Washington's so effective when he gets it going to that middle of the floor.
20 points for P.J. Washington, 56-52 Auburn. Purifoy, an opening, left hand, rims out. Wiley the follow, no. And it's rebounded by Johnson for Kentucky.
And Wiley with his soft touch gets that one to go, but he just put another hard one up there against the glass.
We count it down to the 6-minute mark here in Kansas City. Auburn leads by 4.
Somebody else other than Washington's going to have to step up. Hero's getting ready to check in. It'll be him in a minute, but maybe Johnson.
The help from McCormick. Ball movement leads to a quickly 3.
Let the point guard shoot it. Bruce Pearl probably saying to himself and his team, hey, if we're going to lose this one, let those 2 guys, rather than Washington's jump hook in the middle of the lane, get us.
Kentucky is 4 of 18 from 3-point territory. They have not made a 3 in the second half.
Yeah, that's why the 2-point game was where, if they were going to win this game, is they had to really pick up some big numbers.
McCormick feeds it inside. Foul on the overplay by Travis.
Yep.
The world's best 5 for the coveted green jacket. A tradition unlike any other. The Masters on April 11th through the 14th on CBS. That's the 3rd foul on Travis. Hero will check back in. Quickly takes a seat. Wiley is now on the sideline for Auburn.
Pearl has done a good job, too, with Brown and this guy Harper. They both got about a 90-second break over the last 4 minutes of action, so those legs should be ready to go now.
Playing without Chuma Okeke, torn ACL the other night. Roll to the rim. McLemore, it's denied on the inside. Higgins gives it up. Johnson rejected. Follow goes down. Higgins on the interior for Kentucky has cut it to 2.
Boy, these two teams getting after one another right now. Now we have a switch up with Hero guarding Harper out front. He should be able to go by him, I would think. And Higgins on Brown, but now all of a sudden you have a switch. Will he be able to get his shot off against the taller player here?
Trying to get around Travis. Step back Jack. Breaks Brown. Bullseye.
Smooth move. Smart and smooth at the same time in terms of identifying that Travis should not be able to stay with him as a player who has explosive speed.
58-54. Brown with 17 points in the second half. 24 overall. Johnson makes his move. Fake shot is good.
Yeah, that Johnson has to get involved, and especially if Harper's going to be guarding him. And that's a mismatch in terms of maybe the speed, and Harper can strip it, but if he gets it 7 feet in, he's going to go right over him.
The freshman starting to pick it up. 12 points for Keldon Johnson. Back to a 2-point game. No, they weren't on the same page. Harper thought Brown was making a backdoor cut. It's a turnover.
I think this is going to connect too. Sometimes you just don't have the connection with your teammate. Even though Higgins is a very good player, he did turn his back slightly, had a pretty good position on it, but I think if Brown went, there might have been some action.
58-56, Auburn. Under 4 minutes to play.
It's like a matchup zone Bruce Pearl has switched to right now.
Higgins.
Kentucky's having trouble figuring it out.
Hero leans in, no call, short.
That's a good no call too. He initiated the contact again. Oh boy, he kicked it.
And a turnover. Auburn coughs it up. Here's Kentucky with Higgins, the dribble drive, missed it on the inside. And a tie-up possession arrow to Auburn. We get a timeout with 3:28 on the clock.
Yeah, the pace is so fast. You look up, it's hard to believe there's only 3.5 minutes left to go in this game. It's moving so fast. Nice little pick up. And Johnson, you see the size advantage. No contest by Harper.
History has already been made in this NCAA tournament. Texas Tech is going to the Final Four for the first time. Auburn is trying to do the same. You've got Duke and Michigan State still to come here on CBS from Washington, D.C.
And regardless who wins today and goes, I think it's going to be very interesting because both sides of that bracket, you know, if Michigan State or Duke plays against Texas Tech, two different styles there. Auburn, Virginia's style is different. I just think there's a lot of strategy and dynamics in terms of what's going on.
Auburn 58, Kentucky 56. 3:28 on the clock. This is the Midwest Regional Finals in Kansas City, Missouri.
Odious strengths. One of them has been Brown in the second half. Let's see if they can trigger anything for him.
Down he drives off the window. No, Tippin doesn't go for McLemore, and it's controlled by Travis for Kentucky.
They didn't go to him that trip, but I would think they're going to go to him the next one. And Washington very good at drawing fouls.
Washington to the rim. We are tied at 58. 22 for P.J. Washington.
So after the timeout, John Calipari says, I'm going to go to my strength.
Timeout called by...
No, I don't think so.
No, a technical.
Might be a warning, or...
I think he got a warning already. It is a bench warning. It might have been an extension.
You know what? Both of these benches, and I can understand why, have been jumping. They've been, you know, high-fiving one another, but the officials are just trying to get them to settle down a little bit.
Terry Weimer and John Calipari exchanged some words, but it ended there.
So here comes their strength. Let's see if he gets something going, but they double team him.
McLemore left free. Purifoy thought about it. 8 to shoot. Tied at 58. Harper with a shot clock winding down. Pulls the trigger. Off the rim. Strong rebound by Johnson to get his body in there.
So Kentucky's keeping it away from Brown. well defended.
They work the perimeter. Hero.
Yeah, same set. Just really trying to get it to Washington. Remember, he can go left. You shade him.
We hit 2 minutes to go. Hero stripped to the ball. Knocked out by Harper with 7 to shoot.
And you must protect the middle of the floor because Kentucky has had 2 layups.
Get it in for Travis. Like a bull, he takes it in there. Couldn't finish it. Rebounded by McLemore. 58, 1:44 on the clock.
Harper's going to go one-on-one. He's going to have to go quickly against Hero just to get his shoulders right past him.
Harper using the screen. Brown asking for a pick. They double it. Brown 4 to shoot. Brown lost the ball.
Timeout, I think he called.
He did with 3 seconds on the shot clock.
Smart play by Brown. Very smart.
So it's going to give Auburn a chance. That was a chaotic situation for the Tigers. The hard double by Kentucky. Auburn retains possession.
Coverage of the NCAA men's basketball tournament is sponsored by Wendy's, the official hamburger of the NCAA. Buick, proud partner of the NCAA. Expedia, everything you need to go. And by Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Auburn and Kentucky have already played twice this season, but this one is for a spot in the Final Four. We are tied at 58, 1:25 on the game clock, 3 seconds on the shot clock. Auburn with possession.
Well, first thing you think about is Harper out of bounds, right? So the guy out of bounds could be a quick kick into play, and then he steps back in. And Kentucky's going to call another timeout. The importance of this play. I wouldn't be surprised to see Bruce Pearl try a slip with one of his bigs going towards the basket.
2 teams will talk it over a little bit more. We'll come back in a moment. 58-58, Auburn and Kentucky with 1:25 to go here in Kansas City.
The reason I mentioned a slip cut, watch for a good screen for the guards because Kentucky's definitely thinking, and I think the bigs will lean towards half court. Might get a quick hitter to the basket.
Harper looking. Purifoy lets it fly. It's an air ball caught by Washington. Kentucky looking to break the tie. 1:16 to go. Johnson on the perimeter. Hero came up big the other night. So did Washington. Washington drives in. The flip short. Washington grabs it. The follow goes. P.J. Washington puts Kentucky up by 2.
Seemed like he was the only guy on the court on that second liftoff. Nobody else was jumping with him. Nobody really contesting. You knew that Washington was going to be involved in the play.
24 points, 11 rebounds for P.J. Washington.
Just failed to be able to double team him just then because he went away from it.
Strong. Kentucky 60, Auburn 58. Use all your body language. As John Calipari and the Wildcats lead by a bucket. Kentucky has scored 6 straight points after Auburn took a 58-54 lead. P.J. Washington's dad, Paul Washington, watching on. 51.9 left to play here in Kansas City. Reed Travis's family hoping for a homecoming. The Final Four will be in Minneapolis, his hometown.
At this point of the game, I think it's easier to be on the floor as a player than a family member watching. Keep in mind, too, Kentucky only has 5 team fouls right now, so if they get in trouble, they can reach a little bit more than they normally would. I don't expect them to give one away, though.
Dowdy, Harper, Spencer, McLemore, and Brown, the 5 on the floor, with Auburn down by 2. Doughty gets it in for McLemore.
Somebody's got to come get it.
It's Brown. Tight defense there from Higgins. He showed him a double. Now it's Harper. Harper, the drive. Harper, the acceleration for the bucket. We're tied at 60.
Still 8-second differential.
14 for Harper. 30 seconds to go.
So if Calipari's been going to Washington the entire half, why not again? Here he is. Let's see what he does.
Washington drives, leans, rejected on the inside. Battle for it. Travis has got it. 9 to shoot. Johnson, a swat. Auburn, huge defensive stand. They've got 10 seconds.
They can sit on this, but keep in mind Kentucky can also foul them if they want.
Trip to the Final Four on the line. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Spencer off the mark. Bonus basketball in Kansas City.
Auburn 60. We have overtime.
On the final day of March, the madness continues.
Was that ever a crazy, crazy breakdown just then in terms of Kentucky threw 3 guys at the basketball, and once they went up there, once you knew the ball got by the wave, you knew a shot was going to get off, and a good one.
Everybody will catch their breath. This overtime is made possible by Buffalo Wild Wings. Kansas City. Regulation, not enough time to decide this one.
So there's where the speed takes over. You have a shorter guy in Harper with the speed going against Hero. Lets him go to his right, the strong hand. You want to jump to the left and force him left on that one. What a frantic finish to regulation.
Auburn had a chance to end it and go to the Final Four. Horace Spencer off the mark with no time remaining. By the way, P.J. Washington has logged 30 minutes for Kentucky.
26 minutes the other night. Doesn't seem to be affecting him, though.
McLemore wins the tap. He's been doing that throughout the season. He's lost only 3 all year. Auburn controls. Harper puts it up. No good. Travis the rebound.
Yeah, Washington stepped down on him. That was a forced shot by Harper. Not a good decision to get things going for Auburn. Oh, couple of takedowns almost.
Down goes Washington. He gets up. Higgins.
Oh, they had the high-low.
And a foul called. Spencer was battling with P.J. Washington. And Horace Spencer picks up the personal. That is it for Spencer.
Washington's so good at using his body. And I think that's, sometimes Washington will kind of do a half a flop, but he got away with that. I didn't see much there at all.
The senior from Philadelphia has fouled out. He's replaced by Purifoy. Playing this game without Chuma Okeke. And Spencer, Purifoy, Wiley have been asked to do a little bit more with a minute distribution. Washington to the free throw line. Rims out. Controlled by Purifoy.
Let's see if Hero shies to the right side just a little bit to force Harper left. He's forcing him right.
Shake and bake. Harper turns the corner, lays it in.
And that's a mistake just then. He's got to jump in on the opposite side. You got to force Harper to his left. Now, I know he can go left, and he's good, but guys going to their left aren't as good as they are with their natural hand.
62 to 60 Auburn. 3:54 to go in overtime. Hero one-on-one with Doughty. Taken away by Brown. Brown drives in. And a foul on the floor.
Only their 6 before the shot.
Number 2, Ashton Higgins, first one foul number 2.
Yep, there's the grab. You see the arm coming across. He ends up getting the ball second. But here's that one. He's allowing him to turn the corner on the right. I think if I'm playing him, I jump that right side of his body, play it like 60-40, and encourage him to go left.
Second personal on Higgins.
Nice cut.
It's Harper. The setup by Purifoy off the inbounds.
And one of the players for Auburn was down tucked inside on that play, and he vacated the area to go to the corner. Harper with a sensational read in terms of the timing on when to come to the basket on that one.
Timeout Kentucky. Harper has 18. Auburn leads by 4 with 3:38 to go in OT.
So Harper's going to get the bucket, but watch right there, wide open, nobody in the vacated the area. Well done in terms of getting out to the right corner. Nice play and nice set there by Bruce Pearl. Yep, was smart.
Forrest Spencer has fouled out for Auburn. Malik Dunbar has 4. Purifoy, McLemore 3 apiece. For Kentucky, Hero and Travis 3 each. Free throw shooting also could play a role here at some point. Kentucky started the day 7 of 8. Since that point, the Wildcats have gone 3 of 10.
Well, Kentucky gets that lead if they can get the ball in Hero's hand. We know that, the way he shoots free throws.
Bruce Pearl sends out Doughty, McLemore, Brown, Harper, and Purifoy. Kentucky counters with Johnson, Higgins, Washington, Travis, and Hero. Wildcats down by 4 here in overtime.
See how Brown is forcing him to his left. Higgins. It's a slight thing, but late in the game, you want guys not going power. Good look.
Inside. Hero fades. Doesn't get the roll. Rebounded by Doughty.
Brown and Purifoy do a marvelous job of blocking out Travis on that offensive glass. Travis trying to get the tip. Big possession, both ends.
Harper using the McLemore screen. To the corner, Purifoy, ball fake. Harper off the mark, and it's rebounded by Washington. Loop ahead for Higgins. Waits for his teammates to come down the floor. They spread it. Under 3 minutes to play in overtime.
Higgins is trying to turn the corner right, get to the lane.
He's got the Travis screen. Higgins hangs and delivers.
Good screen out front. Nice set by the Kentucky Wildcats. Very patient to set that one up.
64-62 Auburn. 2:25 left in OT. Purifoy having a catch with Harper.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna get Brown involved, you better get him involved in a hurry.
6 to shoot. The take. Harper floats it up. Oh, excuse me! It goes down. McLemore.
And that's just a matter of your bigs understanding how your little guys play the game. What a read and what a fill. Pretty good delivery. Nice hands again.
The steal. McLemore streaking in. Oh, the layup goes. 68-62. Auburn has its largest lead. Higgins gives it up. Hero fires short. Long rebound. Hero's got it for Kentucky. Dumps it inside. The lean. No good for Washington. He's going to the free throw line.
So look at Harper. He senses a couple of guys are coming at him. Oh, man, that's unbelievable, isn't it?
Around the world and down.
We've seen shots like that in the NCAA tournament. Duke comes to mind. UCF.
Austin Wiley will check in for Auburn. They'll wait until the first P.J. Washington free throw. He's just 5 of 9 at the line. 1:37 to go in OT.
See how he's standing at the line, too, right now, Ian? He's got both his hands on his knees.
Yeah.
That's an indicator to me that, obviously, and this is not a knock on him because he's missed a lot of time, you're starting to feel it a little bit in terms of your breath.
It's a 5-point game.
What's interesting, Dowdy is trying to pick up on something where he thought Washington was standing on the line shooting his free throw. Or did he pick up on something else?
Dowdy making his point to Mike Roberts and Brian Dorsey. And now P.J. Washington.
Yeah, it must be blood on his leg or uniform.
Yep. So Terry Weimer just escorted him to the Kentucky bench area.
I was trying to figure out with Dowdy. He was having a conversation while pointing at that blood on his leg.
1:37 to go in OT. Auburn 68, Kentucky 63. The Wildcats are playing in their 34th all-time Elite Eight. Auburn is playing in its second.
And Kentucky will bat out a free throw as well as any team, a missed free throw as any team in the league in the NCAAs.
Washington does miss, and it's tracked down by Dowdy in a 5-point game. A minute and a half to go in the extra session. Harper watched by Ashton Hagans.
Much better on-ball defender than what Hero is against the shorter point guard.
Co-SEC Defensive Player of the Year, the freshman Hagans. Harper, the blow by, sticks it! Jared Harper, the drive and deuce.
He stuck it going to his right, looking for a big guy.
Hole opens up, Hagans counted and a foul. Chance at a three-point play with 1:01 on the clock.
Watch the way Harper finds the traffic. He's going to climb and go to his right, our left looking at it to avoid getting the block shot. And there's some body action down below. Not up top, but up down below. Beautiful drive by Hagans to keep Kentucky in this.
Ashton Hagans shoots it at 76% at the line. It's a 4-point game. 1:01 on the clock. Purifoy gets it in for Harper.
Nice stuff on the team there. Good effort, get it back.
Whoa, and Harper gets bumped.
Boy, is he ever smart. We've seen some smart plays by Harper in the last 3 minutes of this game.
And that is 17 fouls on Kentucky, 1-1 for an 82% free throw shooter.
It's a little trick guards learn playing this game. When they sense the big guys there, they step in front, and then all of a sudden he becomes as slow as I am in terms of not being able to move, right? He just delays and holds, and then bang, he takes the hit and goes down. You don't see guards play those tricks as much as in the old days, but that was a little tricky right there, and it paid off.
Harper is 5 of 5 at the free throw line. The lead is 5. 21 for Harper.
Kentucky likes to set a play up Ian with Hero involved coming off screens. Maybe a double screen, maybe a staggered one, meaning one guy will set a screen, the other guy will come in late for another screen.
Clutch.
Yes, they were.
Jared Harper extends the Auburn lead 72-66. Hagans got caught in the air. It glanced off the rim, and it's controlled by Auburn.
See the difference when a guy goes to his left?
A foul called.
Hagans had his right away going to the right. That's what I've been talking about with the point guards. Get them going to their weaker hand. Now, that doesn't mean they can't play with that hand, but watch, it becomes a more difficult transfer in terms of getting it from your left hand back to the right hand to get strength on that pass, and it's intercepted and goes the other way. Good free throw shooter at the line here at 81.
And it's off the mark from Dowdy. Opening here for Kentucky. 45 seconds to go.
Here's Hero. Oh, they've lost it there.
6-point lead for Auburn.
Nice switch out front.
Johnson crosses on Dowdy. Johnson turns the corner and lays it in. We've got a 4-point game with 33.7 to play in overtime. So the miss by Dowdy, an 81% shooter, gave Kentucky the possession. And it's Keldon Johnson, the freshman, taking advantage.
Smart. Nice drive around the corner just then, getting his shoulders by, using the underhand to get it that much faster to the basket.
Jared Harper, the leader of this Auburn squad, and he has taken over when necessary.
And the quickness continues to get it to the right, but this I thought was a fabulous play going in. Here, another one going in and drifting. You wouldn't know that he's 5'11". He's got the heart of a 7-footer for sure.
Auburn 72, Kentucky 68. Tigers have the ball with 33.7 to play in overtime.
It'll be interesting to see what John Calipari does right now. He's got the possession arrow on his side, so I think that's important. So instead of just going in and fouling on the initial catch, I think they have to play the fouling game because there's just not enough time on the clock. I'd rather play it and play the percentages right now, and the percentages to me are to try to stop the clock as much as you can to give yourself ample opportunities to basically get back and tie this score up.
Duke, Michigan State is coming up here on CBS. Virginia and Texas Tech have already advanced to the Final Four.
Harper and Brown, their best free throw shooters. They got the double team. That was a good move there by Higgins, trying to reach for the ball. I think they called the timeout before it.
Yeah, Harper didn't want to get caught in that corner.
Well, that's where that style coming in just then, Ian, in terms of, you know, a lot of teams, under certain circumstances, you have to foul and immediately foul. But you can go in and try to grab the ball, and if you foul at that particular time, so be it. But the first thing you're trying to do is get a tie-up because you have the possession arrow.
So 32.1 to play. Auburn holds on to it. Tigers had a chance to win it in regulation with Horace Spencer taking a three. First meeting between these two teams was a 2-point win for Kentucky. The second one was a blowout win for Kentucky.
Okay, so looking for the time. What do they have there? It's close to being right.
Currently at 32.1. It is a white knuckler here in Kansas City. Kentucky has Johnson, Hero, Higgins, Washington, and Travis on the floor. Auburn has Harper, McLemore, Purifoy, Brown, and Dowdy.
Comes a much more difficult spot to throw the ball in, but remember, he can move a little bit. There you go, nice step. That was a pretty step just then. I think they have to foul at some point.
And they didn't get Harper. He's just circling around, playing keep away. And finally a bump with 24.9 on the clock. And Harper's going to head back to the free throw line.
They wasted 4 or 5 seconds just then. You try to stop the clock from moving. And I know he's tough to catch, but you could have fouled him there. Finally, they foul him. The third guy gets him right there, actually the fourth.
Three-year starter Jared Harper is 7 of 7 at the line. He's unfazed.
Yeah, he sure is. He's out there by himself, I think. Kentucky look for the quick hitter with Hero.
Auburn leads by 5, 24.9 to play. It is a 6-point Auburn advantage.
Nice move here by Brown, just staying up. Take a couple of seconds off the clock if you can.
A little token pressure.
Yep. Watch the screen.
20 seconds left in overtime.
Here comes Hero.
Washington fires. Hits! P.J. Washington, a three. It's a one-possession game with 16.6 on the clock. The All-American has 28 for Kentucky. The Wildcats are still alive. One of these two SEC teams is going to the Final Four. Auburn currently in front, 74-71 on Kentucky. Tigers with the basketball, 16.6 to play in overtime.
Teams practices all season long, the execution of clock and score. Now, obviously, they want to get a good free throw shooter like Harper to catch the ball or Brown. Kentucky has about 3 seconds to go in, try to get a tie-up, and then the foul. Okay, so fine. They do it even quicker because they didn't have an angle for the tie-up.
It is Dowdy who just missed a free throw for Auburn.
81% on the season or thereabouts.
Samir Dowdy is a junior who transferred from VCU.
And the 9th foul on Kentucky, too. Put it up on the board yet.
74-71. Second attempt for Samir Dowdy.
Well, your mind is racing right now, missing 2.
Auburn up by 4. 16 seconds to go in overtime.
Don't let the quick hitter come at you, go into the basket.
Hagan gives it up. Rejected by McLemore. And down goes Harper with the contact.
Boy, did he ever go down there on his lower back, too.
So a foul called with 9.1 to go in overtime.
McLemore has made some very good plays defensively in this ball game this afternoon. And watch Harper go down. He gets hit. Bruce Pearl likes to play.
Harper's up.
He's tough as nails. He is really a competitor.
9.1 on the clock. Harper just trying to get a hold of himself right now.
Watch the way he goes down. I mean, he gets the left arm down slightly, but the left side of his body and lower hip took the brunt of that.
Double bonus here for Auburn. 24 points for Harper. He's 9 of 9 at the free throw line. Chuma Okeke behind the Auburn bench.
The thing that's impressing me about Harper, Ryan, it's almost as if there's nobody in this building with him. There's years of practicing at the free throw line by yourself in big situations.
The lead is 5. And now it's 6.
Unbelievable shooting. 11 for 11.
77-71. Hagan scoops it up. 7 seconds. Swings it. Washington fires. No. Rebounded by Harper. And it's over. Anything can happen in March. For the first time, Auburn is going to the Final Four. It's a trip to Minneapolis for the Tigers. Heartbreak for Kentucky. In overtime, Auburn outlasts the Wildcats. Virginia Auburn in Minneapolis. Texas Tech awaiting the winner of Duke and Michigan State. The battle belongs to the Auburn Tigers. They knock off the 1 seed in the Midwest. They knock off the 2 seed.
Keep going.
And they're going to the Final Four. For Jim Spinarkle, Jamie Erdahl, our producer Craig Silver, director Suzanne Smith, Ian Eagle saying so long from Kansas City. Coming up next, Duke and Michigan State will send you to our studio after these messages.